How would you guys feel if one day you had your vision, you can see everything, you can see all various colors, shapes, anything that's within your field of vision, and then by the next day you can't see them anymore? Now that's what's happening in this week's episode of Fukigen na Mononokean, episode 11. We have 2 more episodes, so this show ends at episode 13. From the looks of it, we get another client, another yokai. If you can see from my thumbnail, that yokai looks kind of like a troll, a grandpa-like troll, and his name is Okina. He has a very long name, but he shortened it down to Okina. And the next yokai that we come across is by the name of Tamori, which is a seal looking like yokai. She's a very friendly yokai. But they're at the mundane world, or the human world, and they need help. Is because Tamori cannot see anything, and she has difficulty seeing, so the only way she can see is if she takes the sight of someone who can see yokai. So they go and help Okina to go to Tamori, because she wants to she wants exorcism so she can go to the underworld, and hopefully when she goes there she's able to retrieve back her sight. But before she can do that, her last wish was, before she can the exorcism happens and she goes to the underworld, is that she sees the world one more time. So she takes the sight of Ashiya, and her taking the sight of someone that can see yokai, he can only see humans, but he can never see the yokai again. But what we did not know is that we would have thought, okay, he can't see them no more, so he can't see Fuzzy, or he can't see Yahiko or any other yokai. At least he would be able to feel their presence, right? That was like the first time he met Fuzzy. He felt the presence of Fuzzy until he could see Fuzzy. But what happened was, when she took the sight, and now she's in the underworld, he cannot see them, he can't feel them, nothing. They don't even exist to him. He's like any ordinary human who cannot sense the presence or anything of the yokai. And since the day he was able to sense their presence, since Fuzzy came along, he has been dealing with yokai since the very first episode. And he became the employee of the Mononokean. He's been working with Abeno through various cases and helping various yokai. And remember back in the beginning, he didn't want nothing to do with them. He just wanted to be a regular high schooler, and because of what the incident happened, that he had to miss high school for 1 full week, and then this whole mess, and I just want to be able to pay off my debt and get this all this mess over with. But since he got so used to it and so attached to all the yokai that he has come across, it basically became part of his daily life, and he found his life to be having more meaning, even if other people may deem him as being weird or suspicious. Now that he's like any other ordinary person, he feels that his days are just dull. They have no meaning. He misses Fuzzy. He misses being able to work with Abeno. And then he comes across where Abeno tells him, I have no use for someone that cannot even sense or see any yokai. Like, I'm trying to do tests and you can't even tell where they are, so it's better that you quit. But his determination, Ashiya's determination to gain back his sight and seeing yokai is very strong. So he's not going to let it go, because at least 5 days has passed by. Because even though Tamori took his sight, she said usually, she didn't give a specific number of days, but she said some days after you should be able to retrieve your sight. But it's been 5 days, and there's constant calls for clients, for the Mononokean master to take upon those clients. So for the time being, he's like, you have a deadline. He's basically telling Ashiya, you have a deadline before I fire you, and then I've tried to find someone else that can take your place. If that was the case, then I think Zenko would be the next person, because she can kind of sense them and she can see Yahiko. So Yahiko possibly will be working with Abeno, because that's the only other person, only other human that we know of that can sense and see yokai, if he decides really to fire Ashiya. But something tells me that he will retrieve his sight. By the way, how this episode ended, where Abeno, he went to the underworld and he retrieved medicine, and then he went to the Legislator, but it ended off on a cliffhanger. So usually whenever he goes to see the Legislator, is because the Legislator sent for him. whenever he needs to see him, he'll go send for Abeno, and Abeno goes to him for whatever the case may be. But this time he went out of his own free will, and I can guess is to talk about how Ashiya can gain back his senses towards yokai. If that's not it, then I don't, or probably he may go to him saying, you know, what's going to happen if he does not get back his sight? Will I have to fire him and look for someone else, or do all of this work by myself like I used to before I crossed paths with Ashiya? So it leaves on that cliffhanger, and we don't know what's going to happen in next week's episode. Possibly it may even go elapsing into the final episode. We don't know how long that will be, but that was pretty much what this episode was about. It's pretty direct that Ashiya lost his senses towards yokai, and now he's trying everything that he can in his power to retrieve that back. So if you saw this week's episode of Fukigen na Mononokean, do tell me in the comment section below on how you felt about it. What are your thoughts on what Abeno is about to do when he talks to the Legislator, and what do you think Ashiya will do in order to retrieve back his sight? Will he actually encounter another yokai that will force him to remember, or, you know, be able to see the yokai once again? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. The links are in the description box, so you guys can go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!